G'day guys, welcome back to Wheelwork. I trust you're doing well as always. So in today's video, we're going to change the look of the front of this car a little bit. And we're going to be doing that in the form of fitting a ECB, which is East Coast Bull Bars in Queensland, an ECB satin black nudge bar, and our second Stedi light bar. So the reason why I'm going to put a nudge bar on this over a bull bar is I do actually plan on putting a bull bar on this car down the track. But there is a specific bull bar that I want for this car and they are not yet available. That's number one. And number two is cost. I have already spent quite a bit of money on this car, as I'm sure you have already gathered. And yeah, the budget is sort of not there for the cost of a bull bar just yet. But one of my suppliers had a nudge bar in stock for a facelift Fortuner that was ordered for a previous customer that changed their mind and didn't want it. And I was able to get the nudge bar for a really good price. So that's why I'm doing that. So we'll offer just a little bit of extra protection for now, as well as somewhere to mount my second light bar. So I'll give you a look, see what we are fitting. So this is it here, guys. It's a ECB nudge bar, as I mentioned before, powder coated in satin black. It's made from thick wall aluminium tubing, quite heavy duty with some pretty beefy brackets there. All the hardware and everything's there. And besides from that, this is the second light bar that's going to go onto the front of the car. So that is a Stedi 23-inch Pro dual row light bar. So we've got a 41-inch Pro single on the roof and a 23-inch Pro dual for the front. So that actually has more LEDs than that, and that is a little bit brighter than that one. So we'll get the car up, we'll get a couple of the covers off underneath, and we'll have a look, see what needs to be done. So the first thing we've done is just remove the front plastic trim, as well as these two little plastic air guides, I guess you can call them. The air guides are just clipped into these two square holes here. You just undo the two clips holding them in, and then there's a few bolts and clips holding the that little plastic trim in that sort of goes in this area. So what we're going to do now is get to fitting the brackets to the side of the rails. All right, so we've got both the brackets on, sort of all this part of it's done. That rear bolt there picks up off a bolt in the chassis rail that's already threaded, sort of like that thing. And then there's two upper bolts up there that go through the chassis rail with crushed tubes. I don't know if you can really see, and there's a sort of a plate washer up there as well that sort of go through. So I've done that on both sides. So they're all in and on and tight, and I've trimmed the plastic trim back to reuse it, to clear those brackets. So now all we've got to do is go about trying to get that on there. This should be fun on my own. And boom, that's all done. I reckon that looks pretty darn good, I must say. I'm quite happy with that. It's all looking good. So next job for this episode is to fit this light bar. So this is the one I mentioned earlier. I've already gone ahead and swapped over the end caps from orange to red, same as I did on the top one. So this is pretty straightforward. I won't bore you with how this all works. We've got the bracketry and the bolts and everything in here. Wiring is already all done. We did that a few episodes ago. That's just sitting behind the grill. So yeah, we'll get to mounting that up and see how it looks. And that's all done. So that is officially how the front of this car looks. With the light bar, I ideally wanted to mount it up under this top hoop and sort of pick up off these brackets here, but the light bar was slightly too wide to fit there, so I've mounted it onto that bottom rail. Ideally, I would have liked these brackets to be black. Literally every other bracket in the box was black except for them being stainless, so I might pull them off at some stage and paint them satin black to blend in a bit better. I've run the cable up behind the bumper bar and plugged it into the wire that was already there, and the wiring harness that we put in previously. So there's only one thing left to do, and that's see how it looks all lit up. Wowzers, that is quite a bit of light. I reckon that'll be enough to help me see. Beautiful. Alrighty, so I just thought I'd do a little bit of a night view of what these light bars look like. So the lower one that we fitted in this episode is obviously being a not as wide light bar. The beam of light it spreads is quite more focused in the middle, whereas the upper one being wider is more widespread. So this is with no light bar, so that's just my normal high beam. That's high beam off, That's high beam on. This is with the roof mounted light bar. This is with the lower one that we fitted today. And with both, we get this. So quite a decent amount of light. Quite happy with that. Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks heaps for watching. I always appreciate the support. If you like what you see, please remember to like and subscribe. Sadly, this is the second last video on this car. There is only one more video to do after this video for now. I mean, there's always going to be more little things in the future or whatever, but as far as this build series goes, there'll be one more after this. Sounds like there's a storm brewing, so I better get in. But yeah, thanks heaps, guys. Take it easy.